Hello and welcome to episode 268 of our SAP on Azure video podcast. Today is October 31st, and together with Goran, we are here to talk about anything related to SAP and Microsoft. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
A few weeks back, we have started with sessions really focusing on Microsoft security with SAP. We have a lot of amazing tools that help customers protect their SAP solutions, but we are also very much aware that there are some really good SAP security partners in the market as well. So with this, Martin Pankraz and the team have been working with these partners. Today, we want to kick off with Ivan Mans, who is the CTO at SecurityBridge. Welcome, Ivan. Welcome, Martin, to our show. Before we dive into the topic, let's start with a introduction. Ivan, maybe you can get first. Who are you?
Okay, thanks, Holger. First and foremost, thank you for having me, and it's great partnering with Microsoft. Now, a bit of a background about myself. Ivan, CTO and co-founder of SecurityBridge. Now, I've been in the SAP space for about 26 years, so someone would see me as a bit of furniture in the industry. And what I still do every single day is work with a brilliant team of developers to work on, what we call probably the most advanced SAP cybersecurity suite in existence today. So, I'm super proud that you guys invited us.
Perfect. Well, it's great that you're here with us. Martin, over to you.
Yeah, I'm a product manager at Azure Core, focused on SAP security, and through that, making sure that we do co-engineering with SAP, where everything then comes together when we develop products together. And there's always this sweet spot where we have stuff that Microsoft develops, that SAP develops, that we develop together, which then gets like really the cherry on the cake from the partner ecosystem, because everything the customer needs is usually specialized. And we as the vendors, we bring the foundation, but then partners like SecurityBridge and the folks around the Ivan then breathe really like the life into this. So that's like natural evolution, I'd say.
Cool. Well, I love these partnerships because, as you said, Microsoft can cover so far, but then we really have the experts that can really dive into certain topics, and that's where partnering just makes a lot of sense. So with this, Ivan, maybe I guess everyone in the security space knows SecurityBridge, but maybe if you are a business user, maybe you don't even know that your SAP system is protected by SecurityBridge. So maybe you can start and tell us a little more about SecurityBridge.
Yeah, I see that as a compliment when you say, probably everyone already knows you guys. I don't think that's really true. We still run into people that even underestimate the need for security, unfortunately. But SecurityBridge has been the cybersecurity command center for SAP. We do everything and we have everything built into a single platform that any organization that runs SAP today would need to run secure SAP operations. And, when I started off with the firm so many years ago, we did have a look on, how do you secure SAP? I've been a developer from the ground up, worked in SAP bases for a long time. So I knew exactly how to breach SAP. And what we've done is we looked at all of these different attack vectors, and we started to close them off by working on, simplifying patching, because the time to patch is so important nowadays. We came up with functionality to quickly baseline your system. So looking at all the known vulnerabilities, how do you harden your system, and making that easily digestible. We, being a developer, in my roots, I'm not that proud of it, but I've written a lot of vulnerabilities myself. But we also worked on the antivirus for it, meaning we build a rule set that validates while you develop. We have a lot of functionality that hardens your custom code base, very similar to how we harden the SAP standard by looking at SAP patches. And gluing all of these capabilities together, that was the basis of what SecurityBridge is today. But there's so many use cases. We work with partners, we work with end customers, we work with premium suppliers. So there's so many different elements, because the space for securing SAP has evolved enormously over the last few years.
And it creates like quite some talented SecurityBridge, I'd say. Yeah? I had the pleasure of working with a group of your developers and PMs. And it's it's always quite fruitful, because you get from A to B quite fast. When we were developing your connector for the next stage of our partnership, always a pleasure to work with you guys.
Okay, kudos to the team, I would say.
Perfect. So let's then go into the topic basically. So what have you done? What have we now available with this partnership?
Yeah, maybe I'll start first from my side. When I said, SecurityBridge is that cybersecurity command center, initially we started looking at how to, what you need to really run secure operations. But that all still deals with an SAP security audience. And some of the main capabilities, and I've just mentioned them before, it's vulnerability management, patch management, code scanning, but also threat detection. So we enabled a lot of organizations to very, very quickly monitor the use base. How are these SAP systems being used? What is an anomaly? What is an exception? What is an actual data breach? So we developed a scanning system that almost plug and play monitors your entire use base across the entire SAP technology stack. Now, whether you're running an ABAP stack, a Java stack, cloud services on BTP, it doesn't really make much of a difference. All of these technology stacks are being continuously monitored. They raise alerts. But we also quickly found out that SAP security is not as mature as IT security really is in today's world with many organizations. So many organizations have a SOC, they have a SIM environment where they do a lot of correlation of events. And very often we see that SAP was missing there. So there is a true disconnect between an SAP audience and an IT security audience for many, many reasons. And that's the reason why we also work so hard with Martin's team to bridge that connection. By the way, if we go back to the name of our company, SecurityBridge, it literally says bridging SAP IT security with SAP application security.
Yeah.
And so I think that the biggest thing that we've achieved here is we make SAP security digestible for a non-SAP audience. And we give an SAP audience an easier connectivity into IT security. So, and thanks to Martin's brilliant cooperation working with all of those APIs, Microsoft Sentinel is now in almost plug and play reach.
That's really cool. And I like what you said, that in a lot of cases in companies, there's a security department probably, or hopefully there is. There are people that look after security, but they're probably completely unaware of what's actually happening in the SAP. They probably don't even know SAP. I mean, the SAP domain is very unique, I would say. So and you cannot expect a normal security analysts to be aware of what's happening or what is an SAP system. And now if you are able to bridge this information, if you help the security guy with information on SAP, that's super helpful.
Yeah, and all the way you say is true, but what is an SAP application? Because you have the ABAP stack, you have the Java stack, there is a zoo of services running on BTP, you got SuccessFactors, Ariba, it's such a vast area, such a vast space, and the technology stack is not harmonized. And then you have all of those tech components like cloud connectors, web dispatchers, SAP routers. They all have their own complexity. And to make that digestible, because customers have not only one production system, they have a wide range of systems. And many of those systems, again, have an acceptance box, a pre-production box, a sandbox, a development system. So we see customers having hundreds and hundreds of systems. And to start adding them into a managed SIEM system is very, very difficult. You've got to spend more time on connectivity than on doing actual threat analysis.
One question, Ivan, from these vast SAP technology stack, right? Are you going inside what you are covering inside of the stuff from an inside system perspective, code perspective? Where is the border, so to say?
Yeah, so we really look into under the hood of the engine. So we look at who uses your system, what kind of business processes do they use, what kind of transactions, Fiori apps, programs, function modules, web services. How is the normal use base? But we also look at missing patches. If you're missing a certain patch, having a CVSS rating of 9 and higher, so super critical, we see a lot of SAP systems really struggling with patching in time. Now, the fact that you're not patched, there's a good chance that attackers already start exploiting vulnerabilities. So you need to combine that with monitoring. So, and for that reason, again, it's just combining all these different dots. And clearly, we're not only looking at an audit log. We've seen breaches where code got injected into a system through an insecure RFC channel, and then we look at the code. So we really go many levels deeper that you would need in order to really attack, cover all of these different attack vectors, and there are quite a few.
And it speaks to the different personas, right? Because we spoke before to the SOC analyst, the SAP systems and the vast ecosystem may be alien, but to them maybe it doesn't matter too much how to fix the problem, but to make a judgment call if they need to act now.
Yeah.
Right.
And to them, the correlation of this is happening in a productive SAP system and it had already started in other places of the company is already something that tells a story. Even if they don't understand what RFC is and what happens afterwards. So the SAP security person at the company, they need to know, of course, and they need the details. That's what SecurityBridge is giving them. But the SOC analyst maybe has a different split and different needs. And that's where the bridging of this comes into play. And that's also why it's so easy for us to collaborate, because we speak both languages and we meet in the middle with SecurityBridge. I think, Holger, you had already this experience when you were presenting with Holger Hügel in Frankfurt at one of the Secure Together events there. So you even stepped into the shoes and worked for you the same way because it's a natural fit, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. No, this is exactly the point, that you can provide the relevant information to the folks that typically don't do this, and really raise alerts and or highlight things also to the expert that they can act on it. So you can really pass over the relevant information from one system to the other, basically.
And to make it understandable, Holger, because
understandable,
if you guys ever had a look at a raw audit log, many audit logs would still say user type X logged into system, so on and so on. You would have no clue what user type X means. So that translation of that language, even though it sounds so easy, is often missing.
Yeah, and then really this possibility to enrich this information, as you said, that the SOC analyst not only sees a technical logging, but there is an explanation there. There's additional data, metadata available to this message, to this technical message, so that although I'm not an SAP expert potentially, this can make sense to me all of a sudden.
Yeah,
entirely correct.
Well, we'll see this in the demo next also, with some real data, where we have SecurityBridge plugged into our central system, and we can then see how that looks in real life. But before we go there, I wanted to do a small recap on when we started this playlist, right, Holger? Because in here we see all the pillars that we cover with Microsoft Security. But at the bottom here, foundational, the colorful arrow that goes from left to right. This is where the glue, basically, across this ecosystem. As we started this, where the work that SAP does and that Microsoft does is foundational. But of course, to really bring everything together, partner solutions then are the fit gap providers, so to say.
And again, that's what I feel is so powerful, that on the one hand we have a broad spectrum, but then we definitely want to integrate and leverage and work together with the partners
Exactly, yeah. And the scenarios we're going to look at today branches like multiple areas of IT security. Why does the SOC analyst care? Because they need to look at the broadest data, and they want to see SAP in there too, but in the right language, yeah, so that it's adding value to you, not noise. Yeah, so signal to noise ratio is one of the big KPIs. Yeah, the SOC analysts and the companies care. Yeah, you want only signal if possible, no noise. Yeah. And in here you see like a visual that shows the different domains that the attackers need to cross. That's often referred to as the kill chain also, where you want to kill the red path in here as fast as and as early as possible. Yeah? But of course, the further on the left you are, the less precision you have, or the less confident you are that your problem is real or how big it is. Yeah?
Mm.
And then you move through the endpoints, so the client devices, the laptops, SAP targets, and your identity. But as soon as you reach already the apps and the clouds, you're not far away from the database anymore. Yeah? That's where the confidential data is, or that once the ransomware people want to encrypt and start asking you for some Bitcoin. Yeah? So from here, what we basically do together with SecurityBridge is move this further to the left, on the kill chain together, because the additional context that feeds our correlation engine makes the SOC analyst even more effective.
Mm. So that potentially, if I'm the analyst, I don't have to wait and ask for confirmation and ask for additional details, but ideally I have all the relevant information to take a decision immediately. So the on the left as far as possible on the left, to make the kill chain, how do you say that, to interrupt the attack basically.
Exactly, yeah, to know as early as possible, because it's a race. Yeah, the attacker is racing from left to right to reach the data, and you're racing to meet them as fast as possible.
Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Then, on the component view, SecurityBridge has a native connector into the Sentinel for SAP solution, meaning they provide their own logs, but they also activate what we already have in Microsoft Sentinel for SAP. So the customer profits from the knowledge that Microsoft has and what SecurityBridge brings together. And then this comes to life in Defender portal, where we will be looking at the attack graph in bits. So
I think that's again this really cool thing. So with SecurityBridge now we have a perfect insight into what's happening on the SAP system. But I guess SecurityBridge is no expert when it comes to Entra ID, or when it comes to a lot of other signals that are out there. So now by combining the information that come from SecurityBridge in the Sentinel platform, we can now enrich this with other information and again get some cool, potentially some good insights out of this much faster than if we would look at each component individually.
true, but actually SecurityBridge also uses Entra for some of their specialized capabilities. Yeah, so
okay, maybe that was a bad example then.
yes. Of course, they're not identity providers, but they're making use of our APIs, for instance. Yeah, risky user state is something that they make use of in their SAP protection, which I think is one of the coolest bidirectional scenarios, where they feed stuff to us, but also take something from Microsoft Security to enhance their product.
Yeah, no, clearly, because as soon as we will, for instance, see a risky user, whatever activity that such a user with all their SAP IDs do within the SAP system, it will immediately have an effect on the severity rating that we again give further to Microsoft Sentinel. So it's actually it's not bidirectional; it's actually full turning cycles.
Yeah, exactly. Correct.
So I guess the Sentinel will also have an operating system and the Azure, if that's the case, and could then also connect the dots, right, in order to identify end-to-end attack chain easier.
Well, it's always about speed, as you said before, and for sure, the context makes it easier for humans to make decisions, especially disruptive ones. Isolating a machine, killing a user, that's something you want to take not as a light-hearted decision. Yeah, you want to be sure, yeah, because it disrupts work. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So then let's move into product eventually. So as I said before, Defender Portal. This is where Sentinel lives these days. Yeah, you have on the left all the different categories that you saw in the pillars before on the slide. Yeah, with all the different domains, and the SIEM category Microsoft Sentinel is in here in the middle. And from there, on the content tab, you will be finding the SecurityBridge solution, natively deployed. And in there, they have data connector, which then allows receiving the data that they have in store for us. And it's push-based, so everything that happens on the solution gets done on server and then only posted to us. So no need to open firewalls, no need to worry about the networking. Yeah? If you have internet outbound somewhere, then this is ready to go. Yeah?
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, and then you go to install. Yeah, I've already done this before. Yeah, then you get this installed. From there, move over to the data connector pane. Now we watch the loading. And then we can click deploy, and then this will create our data collection rule and data collection endpoint. There you go. And you get a reporting of the connection states. And so you can see, is SecurityBridge sending me data? Are we disconnected or not? When is the last time we received something? Yeah, 1 minute ago. You simply click the deploy push connector. Yeah.
Martin, when you say connecting SAP, this automatically already covers all the SAP systems that you have. So this is not SAP system by SAP system, it's your entire estate at once.
Because I am connecting to SecurityBridge basically, and SecurityBridge has then already all the different SAP systems connected.
Yeah, as a platform, yeah, so not single on, Over here on Sentinel, you have to deploy the receiving end. Yeah, that's why it says deploy push connector here on this button. Once you have done this, the information down here is used on the SecurityBridge side to finalize the integration. Once you have provided this, data starts flowing. Yeah? And then you see here the data coming in.
Oh, pretty cool. Is the data, as you said, the data is pushed from Sentinel over, from SecurityBridge to Sentinel.
Exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the simplest way usually for the customers, so they don't need to worry how to do this. And also in terms of architecture, if you don't need to ask for information, you don't have to think about queuing, and all sorts of problems go away. Yeah, when you move to a push-based architecture. So from here on, you see data's arriving. This is already activating all the capabilities that we have in store for the Microsoft Sentinel for SAP solution. In here, I've pre-opened one of the famous incidents that we have to showcase this. Yeah? This is again our favorite example of bypassed multi-factor authentication, where you have a session cookie theft attempt, and we actually did this with Evil Jinx, which is one of the GitHub repositories where you can learn about how session cookie theft works. And with this, you can create something like this scenario here. So the attack graph shows you the compromised user that is known to Enter ID, which is this Cameron V. And it also shows you there were relationships with this email and this phishing thing called interesting news. Yeah, very obvious. And actually, yesterday I saw a new attempt on phishing where the Microsoft domain has a tweak on one of the characters, which is so similar, that you cannot spot this when you glance over it. Yeah, and I think it's done with an R and an N. So because the R branches over to the N, which then looks like a combined N. Just to give you an idea, there's still attempts these days to trick you into believing this is
and they're still working. I mean, still a lot of customers fall for this, or end users fall for it. Yeah.
And then we have Entra ID providing the signal to this user here from the SAP NetWeaver side when we have configured MFA through this. But we also have the SecurityBridge signal coming in here. Yeah? We have command the connector. So this is now actually providing telemetry to this attack graph, which is then paying forward towards moving further left in the kill chain.
Yeah.
And we'll be looking at some of the details of this. But I've pinned in here, you see, in this particular case, SecurityBridge was providing information that this very weird transaction SM49 has been executed. But the SOC analyst cares, okay, it says production system, and it's in line with my MFA attack here. So it's definitely a problem, even though if I maybe don't know what SM49 means. And there's then other ways
good point,
finding more details on this. And then Security Copilot also starts adding the information from SecurityBridge. You see here in the different stages, it says now here in the execution state, SecurityBridge provided information about the host and the activities on the SAP side.
And so the information, for example, like that this is a productive system, that is coming also from the SecurityBridge configuration.
It's determined, And this already speaks to the language problem, Do I need to know all the details? Maybe not, because production system, SAP, is maybe already enough for me to make that judgment call, because I have additional insights already, from this attack graph and the correlation engine.
And that's exactly where I was going to. Typically, I would probably just see in the audit log, in the security log, that the user opened transaction SM59, which for an SAP user makes a lot of sense. But for a security analyst, probably doesn't know. Okay, maybe that's okay. Maybe he's supposed to. The person is supposed to use SM59. I don't have any more details. But because of the enriched metadata, I can now understand. Oh, this is the production system. Oh, this is potentially severe, and then I can take some actions.
Yeah, correct. And Holger, it actually goes a lot further, because if you would have a look in a classical SAP audit log, you would see maybe the user executed 100 transactions. But we also look at the security context of the transaction. Is a transaction typically executed with the business function that particular user has? What's the history of that user using that transaction, etc. So there's so many different elements that will eventually lead us to assign the severity.
Perfect.
And clearly not outputted for every single transaction.
And then you pass on the severity also over to Sentinel, basically.
That's correct.
So, beautiful.
Beautiful, So let's see how that looks like. I moved over to the advanced hunting view. This is one of the key reasons why you would want still to get all the audit log information also provided by SecurityBridge to us. Because in there, the SOC analyst can then roam freely over the data, because in many cases, you don't know yet what you're going to look for. Of course, you have static detections that run all the time for certain patterns like impossible travel. So I have a login from here and suddenly it's from another continent. So that's something that you can look for. But if you have something that has not been seen before, you have just this gut feeling, and you want to go dig further. You still need the full range of logs to look for. And when we look at this standard table, this is provided by the Sentinel for SAP solution. We can now filter also by SecurityBridge and see what additional information they're feeding us. And I did a filter by vulnerable message classes. And in here we see some stuff that Ivan sent our way as a greeting.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, someone has been writing a program that has a communication vulnerability, and all of a sudden it starts popping up here. Bizarre.
Interesting.
Maybe you should have a talk with this Robin guy.
Yeah, I should. I should have, indeed.
So that's one very simple example on what you can do with additional information on the advanced hunting view. But we also touched on compliance before, right? And everything that SecurityBridge now feeds to us is then mirrored from the analytics tier, where we have run the real-time detections where you need to act within minutes. Also written to the data lake, where you can now store the information for many years, up to 12 years is the maximum today. And NIS2 and DORA that Ivan already mentioned at the beginning of our talk today, they actually give you requirements in how many years you need to store which information. And SAP audit logs are subject to this.
Yeah.
So you would want to have a means of doing this in line with your threat protection strategy.
Yeah.
And this way you can now do this all in one go and profit from the integration that we already have without additional effort. It just goes there to the data lake and can still be queried. Goes slower.
Martin, I think that's a super unique and very powerful feature, because a query that we very often get from our customer base is, as soon as we switch on all the logging, it's going to generate terabytes of data on a very expensive SAP platform. There's no way we can deal with it. And now we have a plug and play solution for it.
Yeah.
So there is no need to keep it still fully mirrored within the SAP system. With the data lake, it's a brilliant solution, I think.
Yeah, many customers like storing for 30 days for like the ad hoc threat protection needs, where you want to act directly. But beyond that, you want to get rid of it because you don't want the expensive storage of data. But now you have cost-efficient means of the data lake, where it's fractions of cents to store gigabytes.
And here you can scalable as well.
Yeah, of course, that's very important goal.
Yeah.
And you can now ask queries. I found the problem today, but actually, how far back does this date? And there's cases in the industry where you find out you already had two years the hackers in your systems, and no one noticed, and they were just waiting to exploit. And this is the only way of actually having then the trail to find how far this dates back.
Yeah.
Queries run a bit slower because it's on the data lake, not on the analytics tier anymore. You see here this simple query on the stuff that SecurityBridge got mirrored in our data lake ran for 26 seconds. But that's very different to other solutions where the data is stored on some cold storage, basically waiting and unreachable. But in here you can still write jobs against this.
Do you have some scenarios what you could do as a, follow up as an action after something is identified as a threat?
Yeah, you want to take that, Ivan, or shall I?
No, go ahead. You're in a full swing anyway now.
So that's a typical space that is called SOA, where you have the orchestration automated response in the space. And Sentinel has playbooks for this. And SecurityBridge is also thinking about providing additional ones on their own. But our Sentinel for SAP solution already has reactivation of audit log. That's one of the cases that is done to cover your tracks. And so you're looking to do something bad on the SAP system. So let's deactivate audit log. And so that it's not written that what I did. But actually, this is also a signal that gets reported to us. And the playbook allows immediate reactivation of the audit log.
Right.
Yeah. And Martin, I'm going to pick in on your example because also this is done at two levels. Also within SecurityBridge itself, because switching off an audit log, and every hacker would know where an audit log is stored in SAP. It's not very difficult to find out.
Yeah.
Our baseline stipulates that audit log needs to be switched off 24/7. As soon as it's switched off, system would automatically reactivate it. No questions asked at machine speed.
That's even better.
We can do that 360. You would have to be a brilliant mind to skip all the different cameras that are on the system.
I see. And again, for that case, we need a more clever playbook then. So because SecurityBridge already covers this. But there's other cases like the user logging from outside when the SOC analyst wants to make that call. But to answer your question, Goran, the sky's the limit there. If there's an API, the Sentinel trigger incident raised alert coming in from SecurityBridge can be used to trigger downstream activities. Either notifying ServiceNow tickets, making a change on SAP, and there's like typical stuff.
So even enforcing MFA again. So even when the user is already authenticated with SAP and all of a sudden we see activity that may be fraudulent or maybe suspicious, Microsoft can again give a signal to SecurityBridge to enforce step-up authentication again while you're in the application. So again, it's just once more reduce the attack surface.
Yeah, like
Correct.
that. That's the loop that where we're having. Yeah? So where you make use of the user states, and not only in SAP, but the actual IT-wide state influenced by all the signals we're getting. Yeah.
But this is super important because identify is one thing, but also fast reaction and automated reaction is extremely important, because you don't want to wait for the humans to do something there, right?
Yeah, we have
Yeah,
one more
exactly.
case.
Yeah.
We have one more case to show. Yeah, maybe to like close on the persona split we were discussing today, the SOC analyst and the SAP security persona working on SecurityBridge. There's like one customer that shared his story at DSAG multiple times already. Yeah, and in here we can actually see this in real life. Yeah, where one of our shared customers is using both products and has come up with a process to distinguish which team does what. Which the SOC team stays in charge of actually saying this incident has been like fully closed, but the SAP team is there to provide forensics and also act on false positives. And the first decision they made, everything that comes in as critical goes to the SOC team first, because we don't want to compromise on speed. And it's also a timing thing. The SAP security team may not be 24/7 on, but the SOC team has 24/7 efforts. But everything that is not as critical goes through the ticketing process on the SAP security team first. So the first the first real life work process put into practice where both products are in play.
That's really interesting. As you said, the SAP security team, they have their SAP knowledge, but they probably, maybe in some cases they do 24/7, but I could imagine that they don't. And that's why you centralize everything, right? Where you have one team that is responsible for security and they can do really 24/7. But again, coming back to they might not know, they might not understand the different processes on the SAP side, and that's where this enriching, this collaboration makes really a lot of sense.
Indeed, yeah. And we have additional things on the backlog we want to work on, customer driven. So all the SecurityBridge and Sentinel customers out there working on both solutions. We are very open to feedback what the next item should be. We have our own ideas, of course, but really like putting out the ask to everyone, your opportunity to shape, where we invest next.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much to both of you for this overview, for the integration, for kicking this off, and all the work that you have done before, obviously. Ivan, thanks for joining us and talking a little about SecurityBridge. Maybe we can see each other again in a future episode when there are additional functionalities, additional features available. I think this is definitely something that is super, super valuable. And that's why we're also doing this series at the moment, that we are focusing a little more on security, because I think everyone needs it, but not everyone is aware of it, that they should invest, they should pay a little more focus on it. I think also in the world of SAP, this is sometimes still a little unknown or not so much focus is put on this. So, but I think we have everything in place to really make sure that SAP and the whole surrounding systems are much more secure. Good. Then thank you so much, and see you hopefully again soon.
Sure. Looking
Thank
forward to it.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.
Bye.